Hello everyone. I will try to explain the second tutorial about PrimeSpector. As I explained before, PrimeSpector tool is Toolsuite is a Java stock application to analyze proteomic experiment, and I will try to show you today which how to analyze MC AddNML and identification files in general. Right now, PrimeSpector Toolsuite support MCTab, MC AddNML, and PragXML file formats. As I said before, the main panels show different options. If we go here to open identification or pick list, we can go for some experiment. Here, for example, I would try to open a peptide shaker experiment. The first things you need to do is select the identification file. Then when you say open, the tool open a pop-up asking if you want to add the spectrum files to the associated spectrum file to the identification file. You can just say yes, and then you can add and choose the corresponding MGS file, and then finally say set. As I said before, in the case of spectrum pick list, it takes a while to open the file, and then when the loading information is finished, you can basically go to the protein panel, and then you will see the list of identified protein with the distinct PSMs for each proteins and the distinct peptides. And you can basically go here to the list of peptide and say, okay, I am interested in this particular peptide, and you will see 2 PSM for this particular peptide. And here, if the spectrum information is added to the MC AddNML file, you will be able to see the fragment annotation ions associated with each PSM. One particular feature which is actually really interesting is to see all the scores coming from the different search engines, and you can also see here, for example, the isoelectron point. You can see here, for example, all the modification associated with this particular peptide. And the fragmentation table show you which are the main ion assigned or identified in this particular sequence. You can also, if we go back to the protein table, you can see here if protein infra and protein group is present, then you will be able to see for each protein group, you will be able to see a plus here. If you click on the plus, you will see all the members of this particular protein group. And one important feature we added to PrimeSpector Toolsuite, if you click this particular group and you click here to show protein group, then the tool open for you a new pop-up showing the protein groups present, the proteins member of this particular group. And with a really nice visualization, you can basically see here all the proteins that they share the same peptide. If you click in the peptide, you can show even the PSMs for this particular peptide, and you can basically click here and see different layouts of the protein group. You can basically, for example, you can use this layout, and then you can go back. Let's see if we found a group with more members. Okay, this particular group has 3 members. If you go here, you will, but all of them share the same peptide. This one is same peptide. Okay. For example, these particular proteins, if you see here, this particular protein group share 3 different peptides. You can see here the corresponding peptide, and you can basically filter here the extended score. We choose one of the score from the, and then you can remove evidence for the particular peptide. This one of the good features to be able to, for example, if the user is interested in a particular protein, you can basically turn or apply a different threshold to be able to um, um, remove some peptide evidence to see which protein you can keep for your analysis. As I said in the previous case, well, here we have, this is another important feature, all of the information is present in the file. You can see here, for example, spectrat is found, or protein is found, protein group is found, and so on. Additional, we provide the spectrum panel, and we already provide some information about this in a previous tutorial. And the user can basically start the summary charts. And the summary charts not only will contain spectral information now, will also contain some identification information, some charts related with the identifications like protein peptides. And it will take a while to generate all these statistics because the tool needs to go through all the file. At the end, you will see a summary charts like this, when basically we present 9 different charts, because the quantitation is not present. This the last chart is doesn't contain any information, but a really interesting feature here, for example, you can see the delta mass. For all the peptide identification, you can see as an average how many peptide has been identified by protein, which is actually a really important feature to know how many peptides are present by protein, especially in quantitation analysis, where you expect to have more coverage of your original protein. And for example, you can see here the number of miscleavage identifications, and well, I explained before all the charts related with the spectra data. One of the nice feature we provide also is, for example, if well, you can go here and see, for example, the identification protocol. In this case, is a database search, and the name of the database. Basically, some of the parameter, well, the trypsin was used. These are the different scores and filters that were used. For example, this is an FDR, a threshold at FDR level 1% of FDR, and for example, the mass tolerance was used for, it was 0.02. For example, if we go to proteins, we can basically say, okay, I would like to see the information about these proteins, and the tool goes to internet and some provider. For example, if you are using UniProt and you keep the UniProt ID, and this is actually one important thing, the tool goes to UniProt, and from the web service it retrieve the corresponding sequence, and it tried to map all the peptide identifications to this to all of this sequence. For example, this is one example when you can see the protein name and if the status is if this protein is active still in UniProt, if it was deleted from UniProt, and so on. And basically, a panel here show the status of this sequence, the number of PTMs. Let me try to move here. The number of PTMs, if the peptide fit the corresponding sequence. And the interesting thing is some sequence change during years, and and it's interesting to be able to fit those peptides to the sequence to see if there is any changes. We also provide a coverage score for every protein, and if you sort here, you will be able to see, for example, this is the protein with the highest coverage, and with the heat map we show, for example, the how every protein has been identify how many PSM and peptide. For example, this has almost 60% of coverage, and so on. And then if you go here, you will see in green most of the sequence of this protein. And I think is everything. I would like to take this tutorial also to show some other features, and you can go also to some other features in Pride. For example, this feature enable to the user to go and see for projects in Pride. You can search for, let's say, cancer project and search for all the projects that contain cancer. If you click one of the projects, you will see all the SI related with this project. That you can click here and download some of the sites. Another important feature is for all the reviewers that would like to use PRIMEspector to review data sets. You can use the reviewer details or user and password that we provide during submission process, and use those one to log in Pride and see the data sets that are associated with this reviewer account. Another important feature where you can open multiple files, let's say we would like to see another different example. You can basically open, let's say we found another different example, PQL. You can open an MCIDML file or identification file, and also Spectra file formats in the same. If you go in the same tool, and even if you want to compare different runs, you can do it. And that's it.